The year 2023 marked a pivotal moment in Venezuela's tumultuous political landscape. The opposition, for years fragmented and stifled, came together to hold primary elections. This was a bold move aimed at choosing a unity candidate for the 2024 presidential election. This event signaled a renewed hope for democratic change in the country. Despite facing immense challenges, the primaries represented a powerful act of defiance against the Maduro regime. It showcased the unwavering spirit of the Venezuelan people yearning for a brighter future. The primaries garnered significant attention both domestically and internationally. They were seen as a litmus test for the opposition's ability to mobilize support and present a united front. For many Venezuelans, the primaries offered a glimmer of hope for a return to democracy after years of political and economic turmoil. The high voter turnout, even in the face of intimidation and obstacles, underscored the public's desire for change. However, the lead-up to the primaries was marred by controversy and government interference. The Maduro regime, known for its authoritarian tactics, sought to undermine the process at every turn. This included disqualifying popular opposition figures, limiting media coverage, and creating a climate of fear and intimidation. Despite these challenges, the primaries served as a powerful reminder of the Venezuelan people's determination to have their voices heard. The success of the primaries, despite the odds stacked against them, injected renewed energy into the Venezuelan opposition. It demonstrated their resilience and commitment to democratic principles. The international community also took notice, with many countries and organizations praising the Venezuelan people for their courage and determination in the face of adversity. The primaries, though imperfect, marked a significant step forward in the long and arduous journey towards restoring democracy in Venezuela. In the months leading up to the primaries, the Maduro regime took deliberate steps to weaken the opposition. The most blatant tactic was the disqualification of key figures such as Maria Corina Machado and Enrique Capriles. Machado, a vocal critic of the government, was accused of corruption and banned from holding public office for 15 years. Capriles, a former presidential candidate, faced similar politically motivated charges. These disqualifications were widely condemned as a blatant attempt to eliminate strong contenders and rig the election in Maduro's favor. They exposed the regime's fear of facing popular opposition candidates in a free and fair election. The disqualifications also highlighted the erosion of democratic norms in Venezuela, where the judiciary has been effectively weaponized to silence dissent. Furthermore, the Maduro government levied accusations of voter fraud even before the primaries took place. This preemptive move cast doubt on the entire electoral process and laid the groundwork for potential challenges to the results. By discrediting the process in advance, the regime aimed to delegitimize any outcome that did not favor their agenda. The international community, including the United States, the European Union, and several Latin American countries, denounced the disqualifications and accusations as undemocratic and a violation of basic political rights. These actions further isolated the Maduro regime on the world stage and fueled calls for increased international pressure. to restore democratic order in Venezuela. The disqualifications served as a stark reminder of the challenges facing the opposition and the need for unwavering international support in their struggle for free and fair elections. The Maduro regime's efforts to undermine the primaries extended beyond legal maneuvering. Opposition candidates, their supporters, and ordinary citizens faced a wave of violence, intimidation, and harassment in the lead-up to the election. These actions created a climate of fear and discouraged many from participating in the democratic process. Reports emerged of opposition rallies being violently disrupted by pro-government groups known as colectivos. These armed civilians, often acting with impunity, intimidated voters, destroyed campaign materials, and attacked opposition candidates and their supporters. The violence had a chilling effect on free speech and assembly, fundamental pillars of a democratic society. Independent journalists covering the primaries also faced threats, harassment, and detention. The government's control over traditional media outlets and censorship of online platforms severely limited access to information and made it difficult to report on the realities of the election. This lack of transparency further eroded public trust in the process and fueled concerns about the fairness of the vote. The international community condemned the violence and intimidation, recognizing it as a deliberate attempt to suppress dissent and manipulate the outcome of the primaries. Human rights organizations documented numerous cases of abuse, called for an end to the repression. The climate of fear served as a grim reminder of the challenges facing those who dare to oppose the Maduro regime. Section 4. A global chorus for democracy, international reactions and support. The international community played a crucial role in amplifying the voices of the Venezuelan opposition and holding the Maduro regime accountable for its actions. The disqualification of candidates, violence against opposition figures, and restrictions on press freedom drew widespread condemnation from democratic governments and international organizations worldwide. The United States, under the Biden administration, maintained its stance of recognizing Juan Guaido as the legitimate interim president of Venezuela. The U.S. government imposed sanctions on key members of the Maduro regime and called for free and fair elections with the participation of all political actors. The European Union echoed these calls and expressed its support for the Venezuelan people's right to choose their leaders democratically. Latin American countries, many of which have experienced their own struggles with authoritarianism, also voiced their concerns about the situation in Venezuela. The Organization of American States, OAS, a regional body promoting democracy and human rights, condemned the Maduro regime's actions and called for the restoration of democratic order. The international community's support for the Venezuelan opposition was not merely rhetorical. Many countries provided financial and logistical support to opposition groups, helping them organize the primaries and get their message out, despite government restrictions. International observers were also present during the primaries, documenting irregularities and providing a level of transparency to the process. Section 5. Unity in the face of adversity. Implications for the 2024 presidential election. The 2023 opposition primaries, despite the numerous obstacles and challenges, represented a significant step forward for the Venezuelan opposition. The very act of holding the primaries, even in the face of government repression, demonstrated the opposition's resilience and commitment to democratic change. Furthermore, the primaries highlighted the deep desire for change among the Venezuelan people, as evidenced by the impressive voter turnout. The primaries also underscored the importance of unity within the opposition ranks. By rallying behind a single candidate, the opposition could present a united front against the Maduro regime in the 2024 presidential election. This unity, however, would require setting aside personal ambitions and ideological differences, a challenge that has plagued the opposition in the past. The international community's continued support would be crucial for the opposition's success in the 2024 election. International pressure could help ensure a more level playing field by pushing for the release of political prisoners, the lifting of restrictions on political parties and media, and the presence of credible international observers during the election. The road to a democratic Venezuela remains long and uncertain. However, the 2023 opposition primaries, with all their complexities and imperfections, offered a glimmer of hope. They demonstrated that the Venezuelan people have not given up on their aspirations for a better future, a future where their voices are heard, their rights are respected, and their country is governed democratically. The international community must stand in solidarity with the Venezuelan people as they continue their struggle for freedom and democracy.